Looking forward to a conversation. We're just getting him prepared and ready for the interview. It's Pieter-Dirk Uys, turning 80 years old. Can you believe it? On the 28th of September. So this month, we want to celebrate him, talk about his career and, you know, some of the things that happen behind the scenes that perhaps you and I don't really know about. I mean, we may have sat in his audiences and laughed but behind the scenes, what was going on, one can only imagine. You know, when you take a point like you do and you are really a satirist and a social activist, one can only imagine how some of the responses have been. I mean, he was there to tell the story of South Africa, and we're looking forward to hearing all of it. So I'm hoping that we get him up soon, because he is we're just struggling a little bit with the video, but I think we may have phoned him. So we're hoping that he is on the line. Let me try. Peter, good morning. Can you hear us?
Very faintly. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and that's all that matters. But I'm hoping it gets a little bit better as we speak to one another. So 80, you are turning 80. My goodness, when did this happen?
I think it happened behind my back.
Yes, I can imagine. I mean, that's something.
It's a number. It's a number. But I must tell you, it's been very nice meeting up with other people who are also 80. And we sort of compare all the aches and pains.
Yes.
But we don't allow aches and pains to take over. We've given them funny names like Poopol and Whoopie Whoopie. And once you start laughing at your aches and pains, they don't feel so bad.
I mean, this is something, you know, only you could do that as a satirist. You find the humor in everything, and that's what's just so wonderful. It really, really is wonderful. I want to talk a little bit about you and your life, because, you know, we've seen you on stages, we've seen you grow through the apartheid era, through democracy, and you're still going at it. But I want to talk to the little Pieter-Dirk Uys and what he was like. I mean, your mother, Helga, was a Berlin-born concert pianist who was expelled by the Nazi and carried a grand piano to South Africa. Your life, and your father, I think your father very much so the same. He's Hannes, a church organist. That already set you up for an interesting life. What was it like growing up with them?
Do you know, I grew up with Mozart as my best friend. I couldn't believe he was dead because his music was so alive. And both my parents were pianists. So there was constant piano playing, there's constant music, duets. Friends came with their cellos and I just literally, when I was a tiny little person, I would start crying when they stopped playing the music, because I needed the music to fall asleep to. And really, to this day, I listen to the same music that I listened to when I was 6 or 7 years old. So I think I was blessed with a great family, with tremendous love, with lovely friends, but a darkness as well, because there were many things that we didn't know about. My mother's depression, and eventually she committed suicide, which was something that no one expected. So one also grew up quite quickly in some areas. But I really think family life is a very good start to somebody's future, and I think if we have a happy family life, we can look ahead with excitement. So here I am at 80 years old, and they're not here anymore, but I have a feeling that they're watching me from somewhere.
Very much so, and I can promise you that much. So if I can dwell on a little bit of, it's a hard time in your life, and I know that, but, you know, what age were you when you lost your mom?
I was in London. I was in London studying, and my sister was in London also, the two of us, and we suddenly had a very urgent phone call from one of the aunts. You know, when the aunts start phoning you, then you know something's wrong. And they said, oh, my mother's had an accident, but she's okay, could you come home? We sent you tickets. And so we got on the plane and flew back to Johannesburg and back to Cape Town. And the moment we landed in Cape Town, the aunts were all standing there. And then we knew something was wrong. And it was appalling. It was shocking beyond words, because it was so unexpected. And I think now, when I think back to the clues that were there, I suppose we all saw the depressions and anyway, it was literally one had to start from scratch. I think I keep on saying when she died, she took our lives with her. But then, interestingly, in a strange way, she divided her energy as a parent, so that all of us who stayed behind were better people. Tessie became a great pianist. I started writing for the first time. My father actually recovered after years and years and started listening to music again. It is, and I really think it is something that is very fresh in my mind, even now, at so many years afterwards.
You know, Peter, I just before this interview, I mean, I was just reading about you, and obviously there's this, you know, when you're on social media, everything just pops up, and I saw this beautiful, it was just, I wasn't listening to it with sound, but it was this beautiful visual of it's a French artist who, when he goes to people's doors and he sees their buildings are cracking and there's a crack and hole in the paint, he takes his paintbrush and he goes and he draws the most beautiful portrait inside the crack, which makes it look absolutely beautiful. And for some reason, I'm thinking about that while you speak to us, is that these cracks formed in your life, and yet you filled in those cracks with an amazing story and such beauty, because in the midst of this depression and this darkness, you made all of us laugh until we couldn't take it anymore. And I mean, when did that start? When did this satirist and funny side of you take hold of you?
Do you know, I never quite understand what satire means, although I know what it smells like and what it tastes like. Apartheid was never funny.
No.
Apartheid was a disgusting, appalling, shocking reality. But we had to confront it with humor. I've always said this, for me there was a difference between comedy and humor. Comedy is a joke, which I love, but I always start with a punchline, so that doesn't help. But humor is laughing at fear. Laughing at fear, which makes that fear less fearful. I mean, it's still lethal, it'll still kill you, but at least you've got your eye on it. The whole point was, don't look away from your fear. And confronted by apartheid, I suddenly realized, well, the people behind the structures of apartheid are people who could have been my family as well. There are die boere ooms en die boere tannies, die ministers en al die manne. You know, but there by the grace of God go I. And so I decided, let me make fun of them. Let me make fun of them for us to laugh at them and not become more bitter and more angry. Yeah. And it's a wonderful thing about politicians. They find it very difficult to be laughed at. I hope everybody makes the world laugh at Donald Trump. I think that will help as well.
Yeah.
But laughing at fear is a very important, it's a way of life for me now. And I think it started back in those days when I didn't know how to confront being banned by the censor board, being attacked by so many people who said, you may not say that, you may not think that, you may not do that. Evita Besaidner did save my life in many ways, because she was the first person to say Pieter-Dirk Uys should be locked up because he is wearing women's clothing. Sis, dis onnatuurlik.
Yeah.
And everybody laughed.
But I mean, you used to confuse us, because I mean, I remember as a kid growing up and I would be watching Evita Besaidner, and I thought she was real. I didn't think that you were, I didn't think there was a man in there. And as a kid, I was listening to this, my parents would be laughing and I'm laughing and I'm like, what's going on? And then I found out you were a man. And that was like, what? How did that happen? Anyway, that was my youth that I'm remembering through you, but it wasn't easy. I mean, when you talk to, I know the censor board, adapt or die. I mean, when you did that at the Market Theatre, I mean, you were sold out, 280 shows sold out. And that was just in the beginning. But besides that, there's backstage history. There's stories of you actually changing lines in the show, bringing surprise guests that people didn't know about. I mean, the bravery. Talk to me about that.
Do you know, it was amazing how many people in our society made fun with me at the things that they could not even talk about. And there were many shows that I had. Evita was in control of the whole excitement, and she would have her guests. I mean, Helen Ziller, Desmond Tutu would come onto the stage. We never discussed what we would do. There was not a case of send your script to the agent. Let us discuss what's going to happen. They would walk onto the stage, and Evita would say, "Oh, dis is so lekker om te sien. Oh, Archbishop Desmond Tutu," and he would, Evita. Even Nelson Mandela, who at one stage, when Evita was on stage at one of his great celebrations, and Bono was there, and Beyonce, and Annie Lennox, and Bill Clinton, and there was Evita on stage doing her little bit. And when it was over and everybody was clapping their hands, and even Oprah started smiling, Nelson Mandela came on stage and took Evita's hand, and we bowed, and the audience applauded. And I whispered to him in this bowing, I said, President Mandela, every time you see me on stage, I'm dressed as Evita Pereira. And he said, don't worry, Peter, I know you're inside.
I love that. Oh, man. So that was just, a moment. These are moments. You are the history of this country. You have all of it under your belt, and it's so beautiful. But what's even more beautiful is that you're still carrying on. It's not like you've become irrelevant, or that Evita and all of the other characters, Bambi Kellerman, who can forget Bambi Kellerman, the salty sister, and all of the characters just kept on coming. But post-apartheid, what was that like? Because and to be honest, it's very easy as a white man ripping off a fellow white politician. But now you come in, and it is a different landscape. It's very, very different. What was that like, and what has it been like, and what is it still like, taking a dig at politicians and that aren't necessarily reflective of you?
Well, first of all, in 1994, I packed all the props and costumes away because it was over. Yeah. Apartheid was gone. It was a democracy. All the good guys were back in power. We must now try and solve it and take the alphabet from A to Z. And for 2 or 3 years, I didn't use my little blade of satire. But I must tell you something. Politicians are like monkeys. The higher they climb the pole of ambition, the more their asses we see. And so eventually the ANC invited me in to make fun of them because they really deserve it. And to this very day, I find it very, very important to find a way to lessen one's anger. There's, I look at our democracy and I just see the carelessness and the lies and the corruption and all those things that we thought went away with the demise of the National Party government, but they didn't. They're still here. But the one person who can handle it is Evita Pereira. I must be honest with you, I find it very difficult for me to actually say those things because she's better at it than I do. And one of the survival of Evita Pereira is the fact that she has no sense of humor. She doesn't understand irony. When people laugh at what she says, she thinks, oh, she's toch is nogal oulik. And so Evita is 90 this next week. She's 90. She's 10 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
And it's always a very nice feeling to know that I'm the baby in the family.
You are the baby of the family. Oh, Peter, I need an hour with you, not this little amount of time. An hour in studio to hug you and hold you and say, happy birthday, and thank you for the laughing. Thank you for the stories. We don't know how to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. When things were at our lowest, you made us laugh, and we cannot thank you enough. Pieter-Dirk Uys, 80 years old on the 28th of September. We bless you, and we wish you many, many more years. You better outlive her. She's 90, you're 80. We got lots more to get from you. I got goosebumps everywhere.
Happy birthday. And we're speaking out of the house now, but did Evita have a crush on Madiba?
I think she did. I definitely picked those vibes up.
Yeah, I also got that.
She was very flirtatious.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, she still is very. Look at her.
But she was, especially in an element when she was close to Madiba. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you was what it was like for the first time putting lipstick on and actually creating that character. You know how you used to do it on the stage, put the wig on, the dress, and then become her.
You know what?
Become her.
Buzz needs to make the things happen and get Evita here
please,
in studio.
We need it. This wasn't right. It felt wrong, but it was wrong, but it was so right.
Same.
I want you. Anyway, we've got to say goodbye. It's already,
Happy 80th birthday, Danny.
Bye-bye, guys.
Oh, no, Peter. It's Peter's birthday.
Peter's birthday, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
28th of September. Libra, yeah? He's a Libra.
Yeah.
Oh, good. He's a Libra like me, not the Virgo. Bye, guys.
Hey, nothing wrong with us Virgos. Goodbye.